Hello, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. I was thinking, what if we have a little discussion about why there's so many mistakes, why so many mistakes are being made in relationships? We have discussed that in detail in regards to each person's center being different due to their upbringing and backgrounds and all the other things, the religion, cultural differences, upbringing, families, customs, nationalities, and schools, and what they read, what they saw, what all that. We talked about that. That each person has a different consciousness, therefore a different center, therefore they seem to be at the beginning at least, and all through their lives, that they are disturbing each other's center, which to themselves is an order, but what it is ordered to them is a disorder or disturbance to the other person's center, to all these differences of what's in their consciousness and what their consciousness is put together, how it's put together. We also discussed about many other aspects of why things don't work out, and as long as there are two people, there'll always be division, there'll always be conflict, because the centers, the psyches, the consciousness, the contents of consciousness, they're all different. And even if the subject of a consciousness on certain matters be similar subjects, but the fragmentation of those subjects could still be different, which means under what circumstances they experienced what they experienced about that thing and what they learned and so on and so forth, so which angle they looked at it, because always information is limited, and therefore when information is limited, knowledge is limited, therefore the ignorance is always present. And so knowledge and ignorance go hand in hand, as we've talked about it before. But let's go beyond all these things, meaning not in that depth that we just talked about, and we've talked in the other videos. What about some other things, such as, in order to maybe look at why there's so many breakups, why there's so many difficulties in relationships, maybe we can look at it from this angle, that I remember when I was a kid, and still in some parts of the world, not here, even here some of the merchants do it themselves, but where I was raised until I was, the time that I was sent to university outside of the country to United States, when you would go to buy watermelon or any kind of melon, there was this question about, okay, it looks good, it looks the right color, the right hardness or softness, whatever it had to be, but how do I know if it's sweet inside? That was a question of the buyer all the time, from the produce seller or from the storekeeper or whoever was selling whatever they're selling, In the old times, I even remember donkeys would be carrying some watermelons or melons and coming through the streets of, little streets where the houses were on this, yelling out that they're selling watermelons. And then, the people would, if they wished to purchase whatever it was that the man was carrying on his donkey and was selling, they would go out and start negotiating and so on. But one of the questions, whether it was from the donkey back sale, like, the same thing's happening today, by the way, but they don't use donkeys. They bring their cars and they put their, on their trucks, and in the back of it is all watermelon or melon or strawberries or blueberries, whatever it is that they sell, peaches. So the tradition and custom is still the same everywhere in the world. But when I was a child, beside all the stores and big supermarkets and small produce places and so on, there were also some entrepreneurs who would carry his own stuff on his donkey and come across it. I'm sure some of you from different countries could identify with that. I've seen this, and in some parts of the world, they would be shocked. Oh wow, a donkey in the street! Yeah, these are all parts of facts of life, experiences. The consciousness are different because of all these experiences. So the question was for the buyer that how can I make sure that inside of this thing is sweet? Okay, everything looks good. And of course they had a remedy, and that would, they would take a, knife and cut the melon and take a little piece out, and they taste it, and luckily if it was sweet they would buy it. If not, the poor seller was stuck with the melon which had already been carved into. So what is your answer? There was an answer there for that question. But today, I don't mean to demean anybody. It's not about demeaning boys or demeaning girls. It's just trying to deliver a point across. So I hope you understand that. In good spirit, understand the point, not any connection between, melon and us, watermelon and us. So then they had a remedy, and the remedy was to taste it, meaning finding out what the actual characteristics and inside the inner beauty or inner characteristics of that melon, watermelon, whatever it was made out of. They had a way they would actually be interested to know, because they knew what's inside, what makes this whole thing, that it looks beautiful and from the outside. The whole worth of this thing is not the beauty and the shape and the color and the attributes of the outside of it. It's all about how has it been developed inside. Well, same thing with us. Well, the problem is these days that everybody is focusing and making their selections, choices on the basis of appearance, the outside. They make a judgment, an assumption on how the inside, the inner qualities of that person is based on some physical attributes. In other words, we're all making our choices based on an image. An image. You have a nice car, you have a nice suit. The lady may think that the guy is of some positive, pleasant attributes, because the image seems civilized, seems according to what is expected, supposedly. It's got a car, it looks nice, got a suit on, or nice clothes on, it's clean. Okay, that's the outside of the melon. That's why when they get together, then they find, oh, the inside the melon is not sweet. Same thing with girls. They have the beautiful clothes, the hairdo, makeup, the clothing, the high heels, and look very prestigious, beautiful, pleasant, presentable. And suddenly, the quality is attributed, the inner qualities that is going to make things work or not work, is attributed to the person by the way she looks. So in other words, the man and the woman each make their decisions based on image. They're buying into an image. They're satisfied, or they make their selection based on image. Not just the look, the image, the character, the way they handle themselves, what they do, how they eat or how they sit, or certain principles or certain protocols. All of that plays into that image, not just how they look. Their clothing, the brand name of their clothing, their handbag, their shoes, their car, all of that. And the funny enough is, even that image we are not in clear control of choosing it based on what image we think is good. Even that image is being dictated to us, told to us by the media, by the newspaper, by fashion magazines, by television, by the fashion of the day, by the talks of the day, by who wore what, who, or by the expectations of the media or the what is being presented in media as a person of quality or character. The image that they make of that person who's supposed to have quality and character is the image that we ended up thinking, well, that's the image we should be going for. So even the image that we do go for and choose, which by itself is incomplete way of selecting, is not even in our control, is being dictated to us, we're being conditioned and brainwashed to think that image is the right image, that I should be choosing it. But after all, they're all image, whether it's only our choice or it's because the influences that they're out there, expectations of the others and how their consciousness is put together and how they think a person of character and quality should be or would look or would behave. All those, or the media, all those create a certain image, which that image is not really selected or judged by ourselves. So not even that we are not knowing what's in the melon. We don't, and we're buying just from the outside how good or how big or how whatever it looks outside, and we just think, okay, that is the image everybody expect me. If I'm going to have a melon, this is the melon I should be having, because that's the expectation of out there. That's how I'm conditioned very much. But even that image not even doesn't tell me what's inside. Is not the image that it's according to what my consciousness would have chosen. It's based on what is being expected or told to me or dictated or whatever. So guess what? However it is, we make our selections based on mostly image. And then we get together and we're surprised why it doesn't work. Because we never had the chance to really know how this melon is put together. How does it taste? When was it harvested? Was it too early? Was it too late? We have no idea. So the image has become more important than the actual characteristic of the person. That's why time, after this relationship breaks up, we still go after somebody else who has the image we think that that image should have a nice characteristics inside. That melon with that look should have a sweet center too. Oh, this melon wasn't good? Okay, we go to buy another melon. And again, we use the same criteria to buy the next melon. So obviously, still making our choices in the dark. So that's pretty much why we have so much breakups, because nobody really knows what they're getting into, because all the selections are made out of the physical or outside attributes. The guy has a good job, so he's got money, he's got cars, so that's the criteria of some girls. The girl has a nice figure and the clothing and all nice every time nicely and smiles nice and eats very nicely, and okay, that's supposedly be enough credentials. But we all know it's not enough. That's why when we get together and the actuality of the differences between consciousness and behavior and mentality and attitude and manners, all that point of views and so on comes to play, then we see it doesn't work. And never a physical appearance or the image of anything could be fitting. It's like you go and find a nice beautiful suit for a man or a nice beautiful dress for a lady, and you think just because the fashion of it or design of it is good, it will also fit you. No, it still has to be sized up. You still have to see it fit you, and when you wear it, to see this color goes with the color of your skin or your attributes or physical attributes. How does it look on you? How does it hang on you? It's not just because if the clothes looks good, then it should fit you, suit you. The size may not fit you. The look of it, the cut of it, the design of it, everything else. The price of it. So, something for you to ponder, and maybe that would be something you should consider. And more investigation, more being friend with the, your prospect, and more to understand of each other's inner beauties or inner characteristics, and then decide if we should want to be in a relationship or not. Talk to you soon. Just something for you to enjoy. Talk to you later.